Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh. And one more thing I'd like to add. You're listening to Conversations with Chad. As we go, a little something like this. Hit it.
Welcome to Conversations with Chad, where we talk to industry leaders in music, entertainment, sports, and business. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Chad. On this episode of Conversations with Chad, I'm sitting down with a hip-hop pioneer and icon, the original Human Beatbox, and the world's greatest entertainer. Please welcome the one, the only, Dougie Fresh. What's good, homie?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let's begin with the new project. This one's for Chuck Brown.
Yes.
What made you decide to put this project together to salute the go-go legend and godfather, especially since this is your first full-length project since 1995's Play?
The reason why I made this is because I was sleeping, and this is a true story. Something in my dream, or rather when I was waking up, something said, write a song about Chuck Brown. So I was like, where did this come from? Like, why is this telling me to do that?
Right.
So I popped up and I just grabbed, because I write with the pen and paper. I don't write on phones and stuff like that. I may make notes on them, but I still write with a pen and a paper. So I started writing, and when I started writing, I started, I guess, reflecting on the things that I've been through with Chuck and my memories, and it just started to kind of come about. And then musically, I was in the studio, and I made a beat, and I was doing it with the beatbox. And after I did it with the beatbox, I was listening to certain sounds, or I was hearing certain sounds that I couldn't really find on a drum machine or nothing like that. So I started to make up my own sounds. So on the beat, a lot of different things are me, like I'm making those sounds. And then I just started to, feel like I wanted to make it authentic. So then I went to DC, and I started to connect with a couple of the brothers that I know, that got love, that love go-go. They play go-go. And in a very interesting way, man, it just all started to come together. Like, I heard the music, I heard the beat, and then when the drum roll coming with the and I'm going, like it just all started to kind of click. And I think that there was something that was calling me to do this, because all of the pieces came together. A friend of mine named Bobby Glenn called me because he has diabetes, and he told me, hey man, can you tell me some stuff that I could take, because I got diabetes? And I said, okay, yeah man, do this, man, eat like this, do that. He said, okay. Then I hung up with him. Then he said, yo man, I got some pictures I want to send you. He sent me some pictures of me and Chuck Brown. I didn't even tell him I was writing a song about Chuck Brown. And when he sent me the pictures, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I said, I'm writing a song about Chuck Brown. How did he, I didn't even tell him. I just looked at the pictures. And one of those pictures became the album cover of This One's for Chuck Brown. And there was many other things that occurred like that. So I feel that there was something bigger behind me making this album. And it started off as me just writing a song. But then I looked at everything and I said, this man needs to be honored for his creation, for him making this music called go-go. And I was introduced to it back in 1985 when I met him, and I performed at Capitol Center. Run DMC told me about his performance, or how it is to be at a live go-go. I never been at one, and then when I went in there, it was 20,000 people there, and I seen this guy tear the roof off this joint, man. So it became that kind of a thing where I felt like this was my mission, to make sure that him as a creator, he gets acknowledged. And that's what made me make this whole project, man, to be quite honest with you. It sounds kind of crazy, or maybe it'll sound like I'm making it up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely not making it up, man. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, no, that was a dope story. I like that.
Yeah, man.
You connected with Beetroot on the release, and also, as of today, I just read, you have your first 3 classic albums, Oh My God, The World's Greatest Entertainer, and Play, available to streaming services for the first time ever.
Right.
Tell me about partnering up with Beetroot for this one's for Chuck Brown, and also in releasing your first 3 albums to streaming.
Well, I was looking at different places that I can make this. When I made the music, I was looking at, well, where I'm going to let this music out at. And one of the things that I learned when I was performing with Prince, and I toured with him from 99 all the way until his transition, is that, we always talked about freedom and creative freedom and musical freedom. Like, for example, if I was with a label, I never would have made an album called This One's for Chuck Brown. Because they would have said, Dougie, yo, do what you do, man. Do your traditional, go do this and make sure. And sometimes that destroys the creative process of things. So the other part was, we were always trying to find out who can you get with that can help you navigate through things. So Beetroot, I got with that distribution company because this man named David Porter is a part of it. And David Porter was friends with Isaac Hayes. And I got on the phone with him one day, and I was talking to him about help. We was just discussing Isaac Hayes, and then he told me he had this distribution company, as well as being a part of a administrative team for publishing called Heavy Hitters. So I thought that it would be good for me to connect with them because, I felt the honesty, I felt the integrity, I felt that they would go hard for me, and I felt that, creatively, I would just be able to do what I gotta do, and they will enhance it by them understanding me as a brand. Because sometimes you could get connected to someone, and just because they have a name and a reputation, or they're known as being the biggest or whatever, that sometimes is not the best for you. And I wanted to have somebody that would give me that undivided attention. And so far, so good. I like Beetroot. I like what they're about. I like them as people. And I like that, David Porter's in there because, to me, he's one of the, he goes down as one of the best writers, producers, because him and Isaac Hayes, they wrote a lot of classics, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So one of the highlights on the collection, this is for Chuck Brown, is the show, the live version, featuring the late, great, and diabolical Biz Markie.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about putting that song together with Biz and performing it live with your longtime friend.
Well, interestingly enough, that record, when we were doing it live, Biz wasn't set up to get on the record. Biz got there, and when he got there, he seen me on stage, and he just ran up there and got on and started doing the beatbox and started, dancing, and the audience started going crazy. Then he got on the turntables and started cutting up Oh My God, and then he went in there and started rubbing at the end of it, like when the song Come Again coming there, that's Biz cutting right there too. And then he said, "Excuse me, Dougie Fresh," and that was him in the background. And me and Biz had a relationship where we would constantly do do parties, after parties, major events, and Biz started with me. Biz started with me in '82. He used to come to my house, and I would take him around. And when I take him around, he would go to the store for my mother, my grandmother. He would go to Chilwell's house, Barry B house. I mean, Biz became like family. Like, he was definitely family. So him being on this project was a very beautiful thing, but I never thought that this would be our last project that we would do together. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm glad that he was able to get on it and celebrate, because what you hearing Biz in the form of Biz. Biz was that fun guy. Biz was the guy that, he gonna come in the room and tell jokes. Biz was a friendly, loving guy. So that's why I always say to people, Biz was the heart of hip hop, because he was pure about it. There was no kind of hate in him. He was just a good person. I don't know if you ever met him, but that's the spirit that he carried.
Awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to meet Biz, but definitely a big fan of Biz. I love the crowd interaction and participation on "Come Again," and it exemplifies the world's greatest entertainer title about
Right.
you. Talk to me about where and how you develop your stage presence and crowd entertaining elements.
Well, thanks a lot, first of all. And, I learned from studying people like DJ Hollywood, who to me is the first MC, and historically, if anybody look back at it, you really have nothing to go at or to use before him as a point of reference when it comes to hip hop. And then Love Buck Star C, who I was very close to, and Chief Rocker Busy B. These guys were very important to me when it comes to crowd participation, because I used to study them as a kid at Harlem World and different events that they would do. And so performance in hip hop was always number one. Your record was number two, but your performance was number one, because I come from the generation of hip hop where it wasn't about making the record as much as it was about making sure your skills were good. And then if you made a record and your skills were already good and you were already a great performer, then it just made everybody want to come and see you, and it made your show that much better. So I learned different techniques from studying them, but I evolved with them. I started to come up with different styles of crowd participation that didn't exist, because I studied it so deeply. So Come Again is kind of like a cerebral interaction. It's like I'm making you think, and I'm telling you, I'm suggesting which things for you to say in a way, but I'm not. And there's no right or wrong in it. And if you do, if you don't get it right, meaning if you say something and it don't seem to fit, okay, we're gonna do it again. Or here comes another one. And it to me, it represents hip hop in its purest form, which is about playing, having fun, and not taking things seriously. Because, like, enjoy yourself, and I performed in front of millions of people. And sometimes, you think you got to be the hardest rapper, or you got to be the toughest guy. But that same guy like to laugh. That same guy likes a good joke. That same guy think he's smart and say, 1 + 1 would that equal 2. Like, he likes to, you know what I'm saying? And then it's the simplicity of it that makes it so complex.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's simple, but it's very complicated, and it's very complicated to make. Like, to write that, even though it sounds simple, it's a very unique style. You have to you have to think ahead of what you think a person might say. And if they get it wrong, you still have to figure out how to get them out of it and still be on beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
It's really a fascinating thing, you know. And so when you're doing that and you're performing, and then I use a lot of different elements when I'm performing, because you know I do the beatbox. I do the beatbox with the harmonica. You know, I dance. You know, the Dougie dance and other dances that I grew up doing. Then you know, you got crowd participation. You got the communication with the crowd when you're talking. You got freestyle skills where you're making stuff up on the spot. Then you have your songs. Then you got your interaction with you and the DJs. So I have multiple dimensions to really take people through. So I guess I developed it because I just kept evolving from the elements of hip hop that I learned as a kid.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thanks, man.
To listen to it on, especially on a record like Come Again, it's just incredible hearing you do, you know, what it is that you do. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you. Oh, and by the way, and Prince was the one who told me that I should make a live album.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he told me that. And when he told me that, it was before he transitioned, because I toured with Prince from '99 to, you know, to when he transitioned. And he told me to make a live album. And he also loved Go-Go, and he loved Chuck Brown. When we performed in DC, he used to do Go-Go sets, and he would lose his mind, man. So that whole live experience that you hear of me taping it and doing it like that, you know, Prince was the guy who told me I should do that. He was going to produce my last album before he passed.
Oh man, Prince was?
Yeah,
oh,
and that's
man.
why this live album is kind of like what he would have done with me. And I wound up doing it. Like, I used to do shows, and Prince would come to my show and come to back. Like, if I'm on stage, he would be watching. And if he felt my mic wasn't right, he would move the sound man out of the sound area. He would get on the soundboard. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, bro. I swear. I know it's wild.
No, it's crazy.
Yo, he would get on the soundboard and tweak my mic, turn the mic up. And when he did it, I was on stage. I was like, damn, this mic is sounding a lot stronger. And I looked back there and I seen him on the soundboard. I said, yo, this is crazy, man. This is crazy, yo. And he put his thumb up like, yo, you good? You good?
That's awesome. Man, that's
yeah,
great.
Man.
One of the many things that you're known for is being the original Human Beatbox.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me how you invented the beatbox and your thoughts about how it's transcended so many generations to where even in 2021, my 13-year-old daughter Jay and her friend Emily are doing beatboxing. What are your thoughts about?
Okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about, you know, inventing that, you know, 4 decades ago, and then now, you know, people are still utilizing that and doing that?
Well, first of all, I'm just happy and I'm honored that I was able to be the one to deliver it, as far as, you know, the vessel to be able to present it, especially in the world of hip hop. Because in hip hop, there's only 5 elements, truly 5 elements that make up hip hop. You know, the DJ,
right,
the MC, you know, the break dancer, the graffiti artist, and the 5th one is the beatbox.
Yeah.
And me being the creator of the 5th element is just mind-blowing sometimes when I think about it. And I realize that there was nothing before me that made me create it. I just created it because it needed to be created. So I always say necessity is the mother of invention. And I was thinking about this last night, and I said, I think that I made the beatbox up because I was entertaining myself. Because I used to play the trumpet, and they cut the music programs in school, and I had to give the trumpet back. And when I gave the trumpet back, I started to still do a lot of the exercises. And then when I was hearing the music as I walked down the street, I would always kind of like be alone. And I started to do this thing called the beatbox, which it wasn't called that at first. It was just me getting the sounds, and then I would hear one sound, two, three, four, and I was able to get maybe 5 to 8 sounds going on at the same time.
Wow.
And then I would be able to mix them up and create different dimensions to them. So when I went to my man Barry B's house, because we used to practice over there, I was doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of everything, he brought the music down, changing the records. I started doing the beatbox, and his mother heard the beat, and she said, "Wow, that was a nice beat. What was that you was playing?" And he said, "That wasn't a beat. That was him. That wasn't the record. That was him." And she was like, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah." And then she said, "Oh, that sounded nice." And she ain't paying no attention to it. And he said, "Yo, that was crazy, man. Yo, you should call that the Human Beatbox, and you should do it outside." And at first I was apprehensive because I was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. You're trying to make me look like a clown." You know, that's like somebody say, that's like, you know, you got on some slippers or something, and people say, "Yo, you should play basketball in your slippers." I'm telling you, like, you're like, "Come on, man, you crazy." So I went outside. We had to do a party outside, and I went out there. And he said, "Yo, do it now. Do it now. I'm telling you." Brought down the music. And I started doing it, and the whole park went crazy. It was like 300, 400, 500 kids out there. They lost their mind, man. I mean, when I say lost their mind, they was going crazy. Like, "Yo, did you see that? Yo." You know, and they was going crazy. And that was the birth of the beatbox, you know. And that was in 1982. I made it up in 81, but I introduced it in 82. So the way I feel about it is that I think certain people are here to do certain things or to present certain things. So like Chuck Brown with the Go-Go, I think that there was nobody else that could have presented Go-Go in the way that Chuck Brown did. And because of the spirit that he carried, that's what's making me acknowledge him as a creator. And myself, I feel that this was something I was supposed to do. And with a little nudge from one of my friends who I trust, it made me say, okay, well, I'm gonna do it. And then it transformed hip hop. Then Biz was running around and he was learning it from me. There was another kid named Rich. I was talking to Cool Rock-Ski, and I had to send him a flyer. I said, you know, I sent him a poster when I was doing the beatbox in 82. And I was showing him, I said, you know y'all heard me, because I was out here in Brooklyn at Empire roller skating rink that's damn near like up the block from y'all. So how you going, you know? And he was like, well, yeah, you know, I'm never saying that you ain't the guy. I said, no, I'm not just saying it for that, man. I'm saying it so I could show you the proof of, like, you know, I'm not making it up like it's a story. I want you to see for real what this is. I want you to see. I was on the flyer with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I was on the flyer with the Cold Crush Brothers and different hip-hop legends, Funky 4 plus 4 more people that, you know, nobody from this generation has been on a flyer with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, you create, man. When you create, when you're having fun in the creation, I think there's a lot of magic that comes out of it. That's why this project with Chuck Brown is so important, you know?
Right. Tell me about putting together the Get Fresh crew and linking up with Slick Rick initially.
Well, the Get Fresh crew, Chill Will, I met him in school, and I met him from a friend of mine named Mike. And I was in there and I was battling like 3-4 different guys in the lunchroom. And I would battle people every, you know, like a lunch period. It'd be 2 guys. I'm battling these 2 guys. I battle somebody else. So my name became very popular in school. And when my name became so popular, my man Mike Sharp, he said, yo, man, hey, Doug, I got this dude I want to introduce you to, man. He said he likes the DJ, and maybe y'all can hang out sometimes. So when he introduced me to him, he said, this is my man Will, man. I said, okay, hey, what's up, Will? And then I said, okay, a Chill Will, all right. I said, all right, well, yeah, man, let's go to your house and let's see what you got. So I used to go to Will's house and I used to practice with him. And then after, I had another friend named Pop, who I used to work out with doing exercise, and he introduced me to Barry. He said, I got this guy that DJs in the projects, man. He's serious. So I took Will over to Barry's house because Barry was the one who had access to equipment. And back then, we didn't have the money to buy all, brand new equipment and stuff like that. But Barry had some equipment in his house. So long story short, we went over there and we used to practice all the time. And Barry was in a group called Devastated 3. And when we would practice, Barry was like incredible the way he cut. Will was really good too, but I wanted Will to be on the level of Barry's skills because it was about skills back then. And I thought that, I didn't know Barry was going to be with me in a group. I thought he was just somebody we would go over there and practice with. So what happened is that when I started making records, his group broke up and they went to college. So when they went to college, it turned into a different situation where Barry needed, I couldn't see myself moving forward without taking Barry with me. And then it was weird because most groups, no group ever had two DJs. And especially not DJing at the same time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So this was a very abnormal situation. It was like, yo, how you gonna have these two guys DJ at the same time? I said, I don't know, I'm gonna work it out. So I would buy 2 sets, and then I started practicing with the both of them, and I came up with a formula which kind of changed the game and created the DJ executioners, because no DJ crew had 2 DJs that would interact and engage at the same time. So I would show them how to work together, how they would flow together, and how it would give me an edge over other artists because they only could use 1 record at a time. I was 3 records ahead, so I had the ability to do things that other people couldn't do. So after, then I would do shows in the city, and then Rick would come and see me at different places, and he would chase me down. I'm in this place. They said, yo, man, there's this guy looking for you, man. Then one day I got off the stage, and he was standing. He said, I finally got you. I said, yo, what's up? He said, yo, man, I'm nice, man. I'm nice. I'm telling you, I'm nice. And after he told me nice, I said, okay, man. I said, yeah, okay, I know you're nice. I said, but even though you're nice, bro, I said, I just got off stage, so I can't, let you go back on. He said, yo, let's go back on. I'm telling you, I'm nice. So after that, I said, nah, man, I thought he was a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was just like, stressing me.
Yeah.
And one day I'm walking down the hill up in Harlem, and I see him down the hill. Like, the odds of him being on the same block that I'm on is crazy. So I said, yo, is that dude? He said, yo, man, I'm telling you, I'm nice. So I take him. I said, man, let me get this guy a shot. I take him over to Will's house, and I put him on the mic, and we start playing around with a beat and all that. And he started rhyming, and that was the first time I heard him do La Di Da, at least part of it.
Oh, okay.
And we was laughing so hard. I mean, we was laughing like to the point everybody in the house was crying. And at the end of it, he said, yo, I told you I was nice, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we started laughing. I was laughing. I said, yeah, man, you nice. So then I started taking him with me, and I said, this routine you got is cool. I said, but I think it could go to another level. I said, so let me do it like this. And that's when I put the beatbox with it, and I started changing up the beats. And I said, instead of me rhyming with you, I want to come in and just say certain words. I'm going to say certain punchlines. So I started to arrange it and stuff like that. And then that's how me and him really started. And then I would take him, or he would want me to go to MC contests to battle everybody. Because I come from the era of battle. Right. Like I learned the art of that. So we were getting MC contests to take 1,000 here, 700 here, 800 here, 1,000. Like, we run around, man, and just take money and then the word started traveling. So on my first album of Oh My God that I got out now, on that album, I have the 1984 version of me and Slick Rick doing Lottie Dottie, probably for like the first time.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and when we got on stage, you'll hear it, like you'll hear what happened, you know, and then the word started traveling throughout the school because it wasn't a record. It was just us doing this live, which goes back to the point I was saying to you originally, that hip hop started with you having skills first. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
Now it's different. Now it's different. People are concentrating on records, which is cool. But I think you need both.
Right. Yep.
That's my opinion.
So with you and Slick Rick, obviously the show, Lottie Dottie. Tell me about making those records, working with Slick Rick, and your thoughts on the enduring legacy of those songs.
Well, as I was saying, I think that me and Slick Rick and us working together, I feel like we came together at a time that was really, really important. It was really special, and we were both having fun, and it was very creative. And you know, Chillwell and Barry B was there to engage with us, and Teddy Riley was in his house, and I was owed a favor by a guy named Greg Marius from the Disco 4, and he allowed me to go over Teddy's house because he lent Teddy his equipment, and he let me go over there and start to creatively put my ideas together for the show, which originally Slick Rick didn't like. He didn't think it was going to be that good. But once again, also, that came to me in a dream, you know, and I wrote it. And when I wrote it, you know, Rick was, I had to kind of convince him on it. And Lottie Dottie, we just did that because my manager at the time, when we was in the studio, he said, yo, why did y'all do that other thing? I said, what? He said, hey, why don't you do that thing called Lottie Dottie, something like that? He said, every kid in my school is walking around saying, yo, did you hear this thing with Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick about Lottie Dottie? He said, do it. And I said, all right, come on, let's do that real quick. And when we did it, I let it out and I put it on the B side because I always felt it was important to give the audience more than what they paid for. I could have held it back and didn't give it to them, but I gave them the show and Lottie Dottie, and when I gave it to them, it was explosive, man. And I'm always happy to know how people feel about it, and across age demographics, color barriers, everything. You know, it took us overseas, Africa, all these different places. And once again, it was about making people have a good time and having fun. And it's also, Lottie Dottie is one of the most sampled songs in the history of music, which is bizarre. I never knew that would happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was one of the things. That was one of the things I was gonna ask you was with Lottie Dottie being, you know, I think there's like over 1,000 songs that have sampled Lottie Dottie. I mean, you got Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Miley Cyrus, Beastie Boys, Will Smith, Snoop Dogg, Notorious Big. I mean, it's crazy. My personal favorite is Snoop Dogg's rendition on Doggy Style.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite song that you've heard that sampled Lottie Dottie?
There was a mix that Pete Rock did for, I believe it was him, and he did it for Monica. And he used the ending of Lottie Dottie, where I'm doing this beat and I'm going, wow, wow, the boom, the boom, the boom, the boom. And he looped that part of the beat, and then he and Monica is singing I Never Meant to Cause You No Pain. I never would have thought about using that part of the beat when I made it up, you know. But to me, I really liked what he did with that. You know, and even Will Smith, when he was in Men in Black, and Biz was in there with him.
Right.
The beat that 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 Will Smith is doing in there when he's talking to him is another beatbox beat that I made up too, you know, and it's those, you know, and I liked it. I liked that he tried to incorporate the beatbox into Men in Black and have them interacting and talking in the beatbox style. I thought that that was great, and I knew that Will had to have been very instrumental in that. That would have never happened if it was just Hollywood doing what they do.
Right.
So there's special little moments that I see in hip hop where there's really no words that you can use to describe, you know, how sometimes when you contribute, how, you know, your contribution can make a major change in the game. You know, like the two DJs. Nobody ever thought that these two DJs would create DJs DJing together. You know, like the DJ executioners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, with Slick Rick style, you know, and me grabbing them and saying, hey, let me give this dude a shot and let's have some fun. Having fun created Lottie Dottie. And I could have jumped on it and rhymed through it with him. But I said, no. I want him to do what he do. And I wanted people to really get the uniqueness of his style while I was giving them the uniqueness of mine, which is the beatbox. And people really don't realize that there is no instruments on that song at all.
Right.
So
yeah.
that in itself says a lot. Like some of these songs that are sampled are all like they have instruments in them and stuff. I'm the only instrument. Like I'm the band.
Yeah.
And he's the vocalist. So, you know, when you really wrap your mind around it, it really makes you look at it and go, yo, man, this is one of these special things. And for all different age demographics to talk about how much they love the show. Or when I look at Beyonce's performance, how she'll use the show when it comes on, how she'll use that as the introduction to her performance. Or watch her dance to Freaks, you know, with Little Vicious, which is another young artist that I gave an opportunity. And it's the first beatbox dance hall song with an artist that's like 12 years old, you know. So I just feel I was always a person to take a chance, follow my instincts, and to go with it, you know, just to flow with my energy, and as long as I do that, it's going to work out, you know?
Right. When hip hop started, did you ever foresee the global impact the culture would eventually have? Like, was that even a thought in your process?
You know, that's interesting. I've always felt when I was doing hip hop in the early days, I always felt it had the potential to be that. I didn't know how far we could take it, but, you know, I used to rhyme and I would say stuff like, you know, I would make rhymes and I would say Egypt, the North Pole, and Alaska, Antarctica and Omaha, Nebraska, army bases, secret oases, faces and places of all different races. Like I used to say things like that, and you know, when I was just rhyming, just without it being on a record, and I would say these things, and eventually I started to go to these places. I used to rap and joke about, yeah, what if we was rocking in Denver, laughing. Next thing you know, I'm in Denver. Next thing you know, I'm performing in Alaska. You know, I'm getting calls to perform in Egypt. You know, I performed in Omaha, Nebraska. Like, so one of the things about hip hop that's unique is that when you most artists speak it into existence. See, and that's the part that I didn't know was so powerful, but now I know the power of it. So I'm very conscious about what I speak into existence. For example, you got an album, which is saying Biggie saying ready to die. And he lost his life. You got Eric B and Rakim, another era, paid in full. And that's when they started to really pop off and they made some money. I was there. I was actually a part of the reason why that album came out, because they was breaking up. I had to keep them together to get them to finish that album.
Oh, wow.
Because they wasn't even, after the first singles came out, they was going through some personal issues with each other. And I had them come by my house. I said, yo, I know y'all don't get along, but y'all got to finish this album. If you don't do nothing else, you have to do this one album. I said, because there's something between y'all that is going to change this game. And y'all two need, and I seen it, you know what I mean? Because I was with Rick. Like, I know when I see the formula, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I said, I'll go with y'all to the studio. I'll do whatever you need me to do, but you have to finish this album. And they said, okay. They said, all right, we're going to do it. I said, you have to trust me. And then the next year, they were on tour with me, and we were all on tour together. Then you look at 50 Cent. He said, get rich or die trying.
Yeah.
He got shot multiple times. And this album was like, yo, I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die trying. He was able to turn it into He Got Rich in the form of, money. Like, my point is that a lot of times we talk things into existence.
Right.
And we don't really know it like that. So when you ask the question, did I think that hip hop was going to be like this? When I made All the Way to Heaven, I had a beginning on it that says rap. These are the prime years, and we are the members of the Get Fresh crew on a lifetime mission to explore new beats and new cuts to take hip hop beyond the point that nobody ever thought about before. And I put that at the top of the record. And when I did that, it was because I always seen the possibility of hip hop having this global impact. Did I understand the magnitude? Probably not. But I knew it had the potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that This One's for Chuck Brown is out, and you just released all of your first 3 classic albums on streaming services, what's next in the world of Dougie Fresh?
Well, the next thing is, number one, thank you for the time to be able to promote the project. And I feel like it's so important for me to do everything I can to get the word out about the album. And also the video is coming out right now as we speak, the video for Chuck Brown, the first single. The video is really, really capturing the heart and soul of who Chuck Brown is and what he represented to many. And while that video is coming out, there's a mini doc that explains the reason why I did this. Just like what drove me to do it, and I explain it in depth on why I did it. So that's what's happening in regards to this project. And then there's other videos that will come out from this project. But then moving forward, I have other things that are coming out. I'm doing a greatest hits album, and I'm gonna have maybe 5 to 7 new songs on that album. And then I'm coming out with a documentary on Africa and my relationship with Africa. And I went to Africa in '87, and I was the first guy in hip hop to go to Africa. And when I went there in '87, I kept going back at different points. So I'm putting together that piece so that people could see the relationship we have with Africa, and they don't feel threatened or feel funny or don't really understand how beautiful Africa is. And it's one of the many places that I think should be on a person's list of places to go. So I have that coming out, and I'm hoping that I'm able to go on tour, and the venues are opening up, because I feel people need to have a good time and I have a whole new show that I'm getting ready to present to people, and I want to be able to get out there and and show them exactly what it is that I've been working on here. And I'd love to perform some of the songs on this album and some of the other songs that people know me for.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
What last question I have for you is, I wanted to ask you about putting together the Stop the Violence song. In Boogie Down Productions, you, Kumo D, Heavy D, Public Enemy. Just what was it like putting that song and that record together with so many iconic people?
That's a great question, man, because one of the ways I can give you the depth of that answer, to make you understand it, is that hip hop in its earliest times, hip hop came from an alternative to gang violence, because gangs were killing each other in one borough and another. They will run around. You come to the Bronx, you're going to get stuck. If you come from Harlem and, you're in the Bronx, they're going to catch you. You come from the Bronx to Harlem, they're going to get you. Brooklyn. So hip-hop was created as the alternative to give us something else to do with the energy and not hurt each other and kill each other, because it was terrible. So as time went on, hip-hop became that thing that everybody started to love, and they wasn't thinking about doing that. But there was still a lot of, just you go to a party now, and the guy from the Bronx is there, the guy from Brooklyn is there, so he brought his gun, and then they would go in there, and they would be drinking, smoking, not thinking, very mad, pull out the gun, and shoot one another. And other innocent people would get hurt. So we took responsibility in that to make this record. And when D Nice, who was very close to me, he used to be with me all the time on tour, he was looking to do this record as on the production level. So I came in there because it was him. And when I came in there, I started to hear what he was trying to do, and then they started to coordinate and call other artists to get involved with it. So when I came in there, I started to just, once again, like I always do, play around and create. So I came up with that chorus, and then I started to, mess around with the beatbox and think about how can I make this thing, how can I add to it, and how can all of us work together collectively to deal with this problem, because friends of ours was dying, people, girlfriends was getting shot, when the party was before the party, and everybody was running, they get trampled. So hip hop was, it was crazy. So we felt that if we say something, it would make us responsible, and we would be using our power in a way that would make them think, which it did. Because when that record came out, it helped to change the direction of hip hop. It didn't stop us from doing it completely, but dropped tremendously. So it was a very important project, the same as it is on this album. When I put that bonus song on there, 20 seconds or more. And I put that on there because I wanted us to see the simplicity of just washing your hands. Mm-hmm. And how it can stop from passing this virus on, how it can stop us from making each other sick. So in a very interesting way, I did the same thing again, because I just called up a lot of my friends and I said, hey, can you send me a video with you washing your hands? I don't need you to rhyme or sing or nothing. Just let me get a video you washing your hands, and we can change lives from it. So I feel that when you're an artist, if it's possible, you should use your gift for good. You should use it to make the conditions of the world better, and when you do that, it stands the test of time, and we'll look back at it the same way you brought up such a beautiful question about self-destruction, people will look back years later and they'll think about this song 20 seconds or more. They'll look at the video and they'll be like, yo, I can't even believe we was living in a pandemic.
Right.
I can't even believe that this happened in my lifetime. I'm sure with you and your family, you never in your wildest imagination thought that you would be living in a time where you have to wear a mask. You gotta stay 6 feet from each other. Person cough, you wondering, yo, do they got it?
Yeah.
You know, the only thing crazy is this is when AIDS happened and we didn't have enough information.
Yeah.
But this has superseded AIDS. This is another level. This is a world pandemic. So I felt that the little bit that I can contribute is to gather up as many people as possible and to make a song that I think people should let their kids hear. And some people tell me their kids be in the bathroom. They be like, yo, I want to wash my hands now. I want to wash my hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they get so happy about the song. They be like, no, let me wash my hands. And they washing their hands all damn day. Like, yo, okay, you can chill now. You can chill. You ain't got to wash them all day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but look at that. See, so it took something that you would have to really press the kid to do. And now they're doing it on their own. Or something you might forget, but now you're singing it, and it's making you remember how important this one little thing could be to save another person's life.
Right.
So that's why I do hip-hop, brother, because that's what it's supposed to be used for. At least one of the things.
Right. Yeah, and you've done an amazing job. Like I said, you're a hip-hop icon and a legend, and rightfully so.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Doug, I appreciate you coming on the show, spending some time with me, answering some questions. Look forward to having you on again in the future.
Yes, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
And that concludes this episode of the Conversations with Chad podcast. Be sure to check us out at chadkiser.com. We'll be back soon. Thanks for listening.